Okay, we got to transition to this one because you both, as the largest Amazon shareholders, have to make sense of this to me.
Oh, before you move on, by the way, look at the stock price of Meta. We're closing the gap. We're moving towards 300, just like we were talking about.
Yeah, and then it'll be $1 trillion company.
We were talking about it for like 6 months. This gap being closed.
That is true. All right. Amazon has been talking with wireless carriers about offering low cost or possibly free nationwide mobile phone service to Prime subscribers. That's over 100 million people. They're negotiating with Verizon, T-Mobile, and Dish. We haven't heard of Dish in a while to get the lowest possible wholesale prices. That would let it offer Prime members wireless plans for $10 a month. I think right now I'm paying close to like 80 to 90 bucks for internet and phone and all that stuff. I have Prime. I would love to pay $10 a month as we have Carlos join us. So Carlos, let's start with you. Raw thoughts. Amazon getting people to pay $10 a month for phone service. You think it could work?
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just access to a service. Anybody that has a phone that remembers paying long distance calls. Remember, Vitaly? Remember you have to call somebody overseas. You have to get these cards and pay $30 for like 30 minutes.
Oh my God!
The charges to call someone, and then Apple comes out with it, and you can FaceTime with someone or video chat for free. Right. This is honestly the way it should be, and I think it's all the companies that have that as their primary business are kind of screwed.
Hey, Vitaly, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I remember being in I forgot what island we were vacationing actually, and my mother had a serious problem. Like it was basically a heart attack, right? And I remember I didn't have a plan to contact her, and I forgot she left a message, and I got the message somehow, but I couldn't just call. I had to call AT&T first and get the $30 credit so I can call her properly through the thing. Otherwise, I'd be paying like $600 a minute or something like that.
This was what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
No, it's more than that. Like early 2000s. Like I remember I would call my buddy in Ireland. He moved. And in order to call him, I'd get these cards. And you'd buy these cards that had, say, 30 minutes of time. What they don't tell you is $12 of that $30 is the initial connection, right? So if the call dropped, within the first minute, when you called back, they'd say, you have 8 minutes remaining. And like you'd have 8 minutes left to talk. And it was like incredibly strict, where the moment your time was up, the call just hung up. And it was just horrendous.
Insane. We used to pay for minutes. We used to literally pay for minutes of time.
Yeah. I mean, what a scam, right? So it is. Thank goodness for Apple, for Google, for even Microsoft for coming up with Skype that basically destroyed these carriers in terms of.
And then WhatsApp really destroyed it with India, because my parents used to pay a lot to call India. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely great. Absolutely great. So this is the problem with also Amazon. The other side, I have Amazon stock, by the way. I hope they destroy everybody. But the negative of that is that if Amazon has a $10 service, it's game over. I mean, like, it's really.
They already have that though. Like there are companies that have.
No, imagine they have a phone that's actually $10 plan. Hey, that's it. Like
me over.
Oh, sorry. What's that audio?
He's like, that's the most important thing you got to do. By the way, you got to move them over. Like,
yeah. But like if internet was unlimited for $10. And then phone and its service, right, was unlimited. That's a really, man, $10.
That's compelling as hell. It's over. Yeah, it's done. It's
$10. Who wouldn't switch to that?
Hey, Amit, can you share the thing?
Depends. There's reasons why you might not.
So if you really gotta. So if you guys look at this. If you guys look at this,
then Chris, go ahead, Carlos, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
No, they just have to be very clear about what you're getting for that. Is it unlimited phone calls or is it also unlimited data? Can I do video chat on that?
Oh yeah, one guy said $1,800 collect. I don't know if he said 1-800 collect, but I did. I remember getting those bills actually for hundreds of dollars when I made mistakes. Yeah. I was like, and you'd have to call. Why are you guys crazy charging this much money?
Yeah.
So if you look at this chart. This is the total cost of mobile internet on a 1 gigabyte basis around the world, right? Israel, it's only like literally 0.4 cents, which is crazy if you think about it.
That is crazy.
And then if you look at the United States, we're at $5.62. So it's not that the possibility isn't there that you could lower the prices down. It's just that we're paying for a lot of the marginal costs. So there is a profit that these companies are making. Now, the thing is, anything that's good in terms of business, if you improve the quality and improve the service, you can actually drive down costs significantly. So that's what Amazon is doing. They're driving costs down. And hopefully we can get somewhere in the industrialized world, like you see right here, like in the UK, it's 0.79 cents.
Why is Israel only 0.04 cents? Compared to
they're just very efficient with their stuff. I have no clue.
It has nothing to do with population size or anything, right?
They're the chosen people.
First of all, that's true. They are the chosen people, but it's a smaller. it's a smaller country, man. So they just don't have to worry about the whole. I think the United States will always be a little more expensive because they have a lot of territory to cover. So the infrastructure for T-Mobile, AT&T,
yeah,
I mean, it's massive, like their infrastructure.
I would think same thing with India, though. India has massive amounts of land, but they're still able to provide a very low cost service. But I think someone actually
we should strive to be like India. You're right.
Yeah. Well, in terms of cell phones, yeah, they're actually ahead compared to the United States on mobile internet because they are skipping the entire copper generation. Like how like right now in the United States we had cable lines everywhere. We have fiber optic lines everywhere. We have this. India, they skipped that whole thing. They're just like straight into 5G right now. You can actually, if you look at
but they didn't have anything speeds, before that. It was 2 cups and a string. I mean, you can't.
I mean, yeah, pretty much
everywhere. Carrier
pigeon. Yeah. So they're skipping an entire thing, which means that they don't have the cost overheads like a lot of our tech companies do. But if you look at the mobile internet speeds of some of these companies, man, I mean, countries, it's way better than us. Like you go to Iceland or the UK, their mobile transfer rates are, I think, like 2 or 3 times as fast as us. Yeah.
I remember before I had unlimited data, unlimited plan, I drove to Vegas one time and I was streaming Spotify from my phone, just playing Spotify, just driving to Vegas one leg. I got a bill for like $400 and something. Why? Streaming because it was data. And I wasn't on an unlimited plan. Oh, this is when I was like, this is ridiculous. Like they're just, so I'm paying for my phone. Then I'm paying for the Spotify service. Now I'm paying AT&T to stream the Spotify service. And like, I couldn't, if I played the same song twice, I had to pay for it twice.
Why didn't you get unlimited at that time? Was it just
I don't know. At the time, I wasn't into the unlimited plan. I was happy with my plan. And all I did was get in my car and use it like I normally do. I just happened to go on a really long trip and be streaming Spotify. I didn't think that it was going to be that ridiculous. I was so pissed at that bill. You have no idea. Like,
wow, so Canada doesn't have unlimited. That's crazy.
So how did what does
that mean? Motherfuckers are censoring your speech, your data, your everything.
Yo, Canada is out of control right now. Canada for so many years was just like this country that was like, nothing ever happens there, right?
They were just so nice. Now they're fucking dictatorship.
Now they went to war with themselves. Yeah. It's like, that goes to show you, if you don't have an enemy state, you then turn on yourselves.
Good point.
Like the Israelis don't turn on themselves.
That's what they need.
Palestinians don't turn on themselves because they have each other.
Chris, go ahead.
So someone put they get to skip ahead because of the current innovation, not because they're smarter about it. So that is partially true about with regards to India modernizing and that, but the US is still trying to fucking put copper lines everywhere. That is a business decision.
Dude, we're still trying to sell gas cars. Okay.
Yeah, it's
true.
There are countries that are skipping over entire non-traditional things, but other people are still providing legislation to build cable internet in like rural parts of the country. Why? Just give them a goddamn Tesla Starlink and call it a day.
But they don't. If you don't lay the wires, who makes money on that? It was that famous thing that Thomas Edison was saying when they were going back and forth, like Nikola Tesla wanted to beam, electricity around the world, which would have never worked, by the way. Like it would have been completely unfeasible in our society. It would not be possible if he did that. But the idea was, he famously quoted, said, well, then who gets paid to like lay the cables? Right. So that's why we have cables everywhere. It's because someone has to get paid. That's a job. Right. And so
it's
wireless internet to everybody.
Yeah, it's a good thing that like countries like China are being pragmatic about it, and they're actually taking the lead on EVs. Like, I think that's one of the unfortunate things about the US. Like, if you look at how much legislation is coming around giving, Ford and GM money to our legacy auto manufacturers that are still just selling gas cars, it's like, hey, can we just utilize that money to transition into EVs? Because everyone knows that's where we're headed anyway. Why are you trying to support an industry that doesn't need the support? So I think that's where some of these other countries, they're a bit more smarter about and saying, look, we're not going to keep supporting this industry that's going away. Like, why are we trying to keep that industry alive? We should be focusing on innovation instead. I went to, I told you guys, I went to a Tesla dealership today. Well, it wasn't a dealership, whatever, the showroom today. Bro, those cars are fucking awesome.
Right. We need new terminology. Dealership is no longer the term. Yeah.
What is it called?
Can you actually buy anything over there, by the way? Can you actually go, hey, I want a car? Like, well, go home and open your app, asshole.
That's literally what they tell you. Go home and order it.